Thank you for watching Truth and Justice with Vivian King. I'm so excited tonight that we can talk about another story of redemption. I'm excited because I have my church members here tonight to talk about how it is to go to prison and to get out of prison and to do a good job. One of the community servants of our great community is here tonight, Miss Elizabeth Carter. Miss Carter has started the letter writing campaign at the Lazarus Project at St. John's United Methodist Church. And we find this to be a very inspiring story tonight because we have in the audience Freddie Galloway, and Freddie has been to prison 5 times, but yet he has been the recipient of those letters that Elizabeth found in her heart to write. And when he came out, he came to the church, and he's been a part of the letter writing ever since. And he's also gotten a job. So we're so proud of Freddie tonight, and we're also proud of my co-host, Mr. Danny Sneed, who is the person who arranged the guests tonight. He's very proud of them too. And I'm going to turn it over to Danny. Danny, tell us why you're very proud of this group.
Well, thank you, Vivian. Well, what I'm proud of most is that we have a platform. You know, the screen said I'm a political activist with Texas Advocate for Justice, but what I really am is a returning citizen, formerly incarcerated black man that has been to prison 3 times and spent 15 years in TDC. But I can tell you, man, God turned my wounds into wisdom, and I can hold my head up and not be shackled by the shame, guilt, and the stigma about being a person that's been in prison. It's not what I did, it's what I've done after my life after prison, life after prison. And that's what we're here tonight. We're talking about there's no shortcuts to successful reentry. And so tonight, we're gonna talk about Freddie's journey into reentry. He came to we came to know him through the Path of Freedom Social Justice Ministry, which is a support group for men and women formerly incarcerated that have returned back into society and have chosen a path to work within the community, to heal the community based on the idea of taking personal responsibility for what we did prior to going to prison. You do know that 15,000 people are released back into Harris County every year, and that not all of us stay out. Quite frankly, many of us return back to prison at a high rate. But tonight you have 2 people at the table that has made a decision to do something different in our life, and we want to highlight that.
Amen. I'm proud of you too. And again, like Danny is saying, this is a program through our church, St. John's United Methodist Church, at the corner of Gray and Crawford. So, Danny, tell us more about why you were excited to have Elizabeth come talk tonight.
Well, you got to think about Elizabeth here sits at the table, and you know we would say she's a child. You know what I'm saying? But she's not a child. But you got to.
She looks like one.
Right. We're talking about a 24-year-old that's working with men and women that has been to prison, and you ask yourself, what connects her to that? Well, her story is she had a family member that was incarcerated.
Let me let Elizabeth say it. So Elizabeth, I'm gonna interrupt. We're gonna make the 24-year-old get on the spot. One of the reasons why I started this program was for you millennials. I wanted to explain to you what the criminal justice system is, what it means. I got so tired of people calling my office and say, well, the judge is supposed to do this, and the lawyer is supposed to do this. But yet it wasn't in the Code of Criminal Procedure. It wasn't in the Penal Code. It wasn't in the Texas Constitution. I don't know where they got these urban myths for what the roles are for a judge. Well, the judge gave me this. Very few people get their sentence from a judge. The DA's office brings the charges. The DA's office makes the plea bargain recommendations. The judge accepts it generally, because 90% of our cases end in plea bargains, accepts it, but the judge, being the gatekeeper of the Constitution, is reading out loud the agreement between the defendant and the prosecutor to determine, Mr. Galloway, is this really what you want to do? Is this 10 years TDC what you want to do? Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty and for no other reason? Has anybody coerced you or forced you or made you plead guilty when you're really not guilty? That's a gatekeeping function. That's so you can say, Judge, I'm really not guilty, but this old low-down lawyer is making me take this 10 years, and I'm really innocent. I told this so silly lawyer that I'm innocent. And if you say that, the judge is going to reset it for trial because they're the gatekeepers of the Constitution. Because we don't just put people in jail. Everybody has a right to defend themselves in trial. But that is perceived by the uneducated public that comes to the courthouse as the judge is giving it to them. Do you understand what I'm saying? The judge is not giving it to them. The judge is asking you, are you sure you want to do this? Because this is your last chance to go to trial. And then if you plead guilty to it, you're stuck. There's no appeal, there's no trial, because our system is based on the cops getting the right person and you being punished for the crime. But if the cops got it wrong, then our Constitution allows us to fight it with a jury of our peers, and peers for us is Harris County, which is 4 million people, that's very broad, it's not the same person of the same race and the same color. So I'm saying all that to say I get tired of people telling me what the roles are, and you don't know what the roles are. So I want us to educate through stories, but I also want to be uplifted by people, young people, because there's so few young people that really, young people will Twitter, young people will email, they'll do something real quick and then turn around and say, where we going to go drinking tonight? But very rarely do young people like you actually go to a program at night and start writing letters. So tell us what inspired you, Elizabeth, to do that at 23, 13 months ago.
Yes, ma'am. Well, it started after I graduated school.
Now, where'd you graduate from?
Sam Houston State University.
Okay. And they do a lot of criminal justice over there.
And I wasn't involved in school.
Okay.
At all, knew nothing. So basically what happened was after I finished school, I wanted to go to occupational therapy school because I said, hey, I want to work in a nursing home and help elderly people because that's where my heart is. But during the last year of my college career, I found out that one of my family members was incarcerated. This is his second time being in TDC, and he spent practically all of his 20s in TDC. And I didn't know what to say. I sent him one letter. I hadn't seen him, talked to him, heard from him in over 15 years.
Wow.
So I wrote him a letter. I was nervous. Even my mother was like, he might not remember you. Are you sure? And I said, well, we'll see what happens. And so he wrote me back. And that's what started our communication, and we began communicating through letters. And when I first started writing him, he sounded like the 17-year-old kid, I'm going to do this, forget this, forget that, these people are holding me down. The typical attitude that we have when we're uneducated to the system and how it works. So, but as time went on and we began to write, letters were coming in once a week and 5-6 pages, and I felt like, at first I didn't want to take on the letter writing ministry because Danny had asked me, and I was like, well, I don't know. Because I wrote him, and it took so much from me because it was 5- and 6-page letters, handwritten. I was typing them back. So I eventually got to a point where I said, I think God really put it on my heart where he said, I can't just keep this to myself. I have to share it. I can't just, it was like I was being selfish, only helping him. But what about all of the other black men that I know, or minority men, or other men in society that I know that have been in the system, time and time again?
That's a question I'll have. Do you only write black men?
No.
Okay.
We write everyone. I'm actually writing some women now. And what's really interesting is right now, there's a 19-year-old who, a psychologist, he wrote a psychologist. He's in TDC in Harris County right now. And she didn't know what to tell him. He was talking about he had tried to commit suicide 3 times. And he was saying that he's innocent. But I wrote him, and because she was like, I don't know what to tell him. And this is a psychologist. A doctor, so I was like, well, let me write him. And I've been corresponding with him, and he's written us back, and he's really just appreciated the letters. And I actually have a letter here from him today that I just received. So it's not just, and it's now not just men, it's also women. We've had a woman show up that we've written, and she comes when she can. She got a job. After 2 weeks after being out. And I texted her today. She said she's going to watch the show. So, yay. I mean, it's just, it's amazing what is happening.
How do you get the addresses of the people you want to write?
The addresses? Okay.
How do you know who you want to write? Do you know them as an individual, or how do you know who you're writing?
Okay. what we have is a mailing list, and we get usually recruitment through our church or people within the Path to Freedom group who know someone in prison or jail, and they say, hey, my cousin's in prison, or my sister, or whoever, and we
So it
write
comes with
them.
requests usually.
Typically.
So someone
Or
requests.
recruitment,
But-
like we met you at the table. A lot of them come from that table at St. John's.
Also, there are people who write us just because at one point in time, St. John's used to be affiliated with the Tory program, that's T.D. Jakes' program for reentry, and they write us assuming that we're Tory, and then we tell them about the Path to Freedom, and that's how we engage a connection.
Okay. So how many people do you have volunteering to write people?
It's about, I want to say, 12 to 24 each time. So we have a mailing list of over 80 people we're writing.
Okay.
And that's not counting the letters we receive each month. So now we're receiving about 120 letters.
Oh, I
Like,
know.
it's-
Trust me. When I was a defense lawyer, I'm now a proud prosecutor again. But when I was a defense lawyer, I used to get all those letters. As a prosecutor, I'm getting the letters, but you get a lot of letters. So there are a lot of people who are in need of just a pen pal, really, the old-fashioned pen pal.
Yes, ma'am. And
So tell me how you think that you started writing Freddie Galloway, our guest tonight.
how we started writing Freddie? Well, originally, St. John's had a pen pal type system, but it had been not active for a while. So it just so happened when Freddie got out of prison, that part of the ministry had written him, and that the lady who was over it is no longer over it. So when I picked it up, it just so happened that Freddie came on letter writing night, the first letter writing that I
Facilitated.
facilitated.
Wow. Wow.
And he wrote someone that was in prison or jail like himself on the first day out. He was already boots
Already
on the ground.
volunteering. Boots on the ground, Mr. Freddie. Now we get to you, Mr. Freddie. So tell us, Freddie, how'd you get it? How'd you end up going to prison 5 times? Tell us about your childhood and, did you have 2 parents? Did you have 1? Is it your foster parents' fault? Was it middle school? Tell us about how you got involved in this life.
First of all, I'd like to say good evening. Well, how
You can look at me or you can look at your camera, either
okay.
one.
Well, how I think it first started is I had my mother. She basically raised me on her own, but my father was there, but he wasn't there. I was back and forth, but I was mostly with my mother. I think she did a good job, but to the point to where I was raised in 5th Ward and for Lowndes and Sackworth. We moved from there to the north side of Houston, and my mother's a beautician, and she's always at work. And either I'm at a friend house or a relative house because I'm my only child.
Gotcha.
And going through school, they say I was kind of slow learner, but to me, it was like, I wasn't catching on fast as the other kids was, but I was getting the work done.
Okay.
And going through high school, I remember they had a UIL rule, no pass, no play rule, and I was good in sports. And coaches was go around and ask him how I was doing in school, and they say, well, he's bad at passing, like that. The coach would tell the teacher, well, I need him because he's a good player, and they would pass me through, even though I wasn't passing, and that kind of, bothered me with coming up, my education. I should have furthered myself in education, but I get to that. But coming up, and I was more like peer pressure, want to fit in with the crowd, be accepted, do what they do. And my mother, she always provided for me, A lot of people say I was spoiled, but I don't think I was spoiled. I just was a fortunate child at the time. My mother only had 1 kid, so I guess she can support that 1 kid. But and I got a scholarship going to St. University, and my dream was to become a professional football player. So I went there and I got my neck sprung. And so my dreams were shattered. And I come home to be with my friends. And what they was doing was selling drugs, stealing cars, whatever it took to make this fast money. You know what I mean? I had jobs coming up, but I never had to do the things that I did. But it was just, like I said, the peer pressure I was in with the wrong crowd. You know, I didn't have to make those decisions, but I chose to make those decisions, you know. And I started off by auto theft. Started stealing T-Tops cards. And, you know, you get anywhere from $500 to $700, all depending on what type of vehicle it was. You know, that was fast money. You know, fast money go fast. But that was the lifestyle I had took on after that. My career had kind of shattered to me. But then I moved from that to, like, smoking pot, drinking, you know, typical teenager just hanging out, doing what I do, because I really didn't have that supervision really coming up because, like I said, my mother was always at work, or I was over to a neighbor or to a friend's of my mother's. You know, they would, you know, look after me while she was at work. But coming from that kind of environment, you know, it was like I was just misguided. You know what I mean? Just wanted to fit in with people that was around my surroundings, you know. But I was really brought up in church, but I got to the point to where I was of age, and my mother told me it was up to me if I wanted to continue to go to church. So I had that Christian background about myself, but you know, like I said, I made the decision to do all those wrong things that I knew was wrong, but yet and still I want to fit in with the crowd and be accepted.
Right.
So, but like in and out of prison, you know, like I say, it was.
How old were you when you first went to prison?
I believe I was probably about 24, 23, something like that.
And was that for your auto theft case?
Yes, ma'am. That was the auto theft. And like I said, after that auto theft, I started, you know, I was using drugs before that, but it was like marijuana. Everybody thought marijuana was cool back then. You know, you didn't rob and steal for marijuana. You know, you just got high and ate, got the munchies or whatever.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, you know, as the years go on, you know, I progressed to different, you know, types of drug. I have snorted cocaine. I have used cocaine, and I had got addicted, and to where my habit, to where I had to do things like, you know, steal cars. I never robbed anybody, but my mentality was for stealing was that, okay, you pay insurance for your car. You pay all year long, and don't nothing ever happen to your car.
Dang.
You know what I mean?
So you helping us out.
But no, not that. It's just that was my mentality of thinking. You know, I know it's mixed up.
And did you learn later? I just got to throw this in. Since Danny took a dig, I got to take one too. So when you stealing our cars, do you realize that most of us are upside down in those car payments?
What?
And although we buy a car for $30,000, as soon as we drive off the lot, it ain't worth but about $20,000. And so the insurance is gonna cover the fair market value at the time it's stolen, and that might be $15,000, and we still owe about $5 or $10 difference. So do you know that every car that is stolen, after the insurance pays off the fair market value, what it's worth right now, but you have already financed $30,000, so you've added interest to the $30,000, so the 30 is more like $40,000, and then by the time somebody steals it 6 months or a year later, you still owe that big amount, but now the car is only worth about, say, like $20,000, but you owe $40,000. So I know most people who steal cars don't realize that. So that's why people hate thieves. That's why people, you've always heard you get more time for stealing or robbing than you do for killing somebody. It's because the person that you stole that car from, the insurance is going to pay off the fair market value, but they still owe that finance company that financed it for them the difference between the amount that it's worth that day and the amount that you still owe. You still owe it, and if you don't pay it, and you know if your car's stolen, you're not gonna pay it, then it goes on your credit.
Right.
So then you're hurt trying to buy the next car.
Right.
I know a lot of people don't know that, but that's why people are mad, hate car thieves.
Right.
It's that difference. Did you know that?
Well, no, I didn't. But you know,
Well, since this is an educational show,
Right.
I think I need to add that education to the mix. And that's why if you ever had a lawyer for one of your car thief cases, they did not want to go to trial and face a jury because the jury gonna give you the max because everybody in Houston has had their car either stolen or broken into,
Right.
and you always lose on that game.
right.
Or the insurance deductible. Also on the insurance, you got to take that deductible, which ain't going towards paying off that car either. So they're gonna subtract that. So the insurance companies are the one who win.
Right.
And then eventually they usually get the car back stripped, and then they'll sell it again
Right.
for salvage.
But you know, as people watching now, you know, if I stole your car, I apologize. I'm sorry.
He made it amends. He made it amends.
Yeah,
He make it
and we need amends. We need
Yeah.
amends. But I had to add that educational piece, not to you, because you were
Yeah.
young, you didn't know. But I'm just letting you know that if somebody's out there thinking about stealing cars and you go to court, we're gonna get you, okay? Because our interest rates, our rates are too high.
Right. You know, I didn't feel like I was taken from you personally. I didn't see it like that.
Right, of
You
course.
know, but you know, I was up
You were
under the
young.
influence, you know, of drugs and alcohol.
And the thing is, when you're taking cars, you've never owned one and had to deal with that, so you don't know. Well, you're paying a monthly note on something.
Well, yes, I were, but I just wasn't being responsible at the time
Gotcha.
because, you know, I was overwhelmed by my addiction
Gotcha.
and stuff like that. But now that I didn't repent and ask my higher power to forgive me, and I'm asking society to forgive me.
I appreciate that.
You know.
So let's go back to the stealing. Let's go back to being young. I just wanted to digress through that because we try to have a little laughter in between our pain.
Yeah. Well, how young you want me to go back?
Well, you do no at the car stealing. And
Okay,
then
well-
car stealing, going to jail. How much time did you get the first time you were sent to prison since you went 5 times?
It was 4 years.
Okay.
And I ended up doing like 2 months on that 4 years.
So that was the 90s.
Right.
Early 90s.
So that was like just a tap on the hand. So I didn't learn my lesson.
Okay.
So when I got back out, it's like, you know, your friends run up to you, hey man, you know, congratulations, glad you're home, but they really not glad you're home, you know what I mean, to a certain extent, because they want you to get right back into what you was doing with them because they're still out there, you know, but you come back out with a fresh mind and you sober and you clean. But yet and still, you know, you have to take initiative sooner or later to understand that, hey, these are really not your friends because did anybody send me any money down there but my mother?
Right.
You know. But yeah, I left the car stealing alone and I started selling drugs once I got off the drugs. Because I knew that selling drugs make a lots of money. And I was to the point to where I had hit bottom. And I would know I wasn't raised like that, you know what I mean? So I was going through a hard time, you know, I had, you know, like I said, my dreams had got shattered and come home. I should have stayed in school and got my education. But I came home and I started running the streets. And, you know, one thing led to another. And like I say, the fast money, the women's, the cars, you know, I thought I was the man, you know. I thought I was being responsible, you know. I'm making all this money now because I'm not using drugs anymore. I'm not.
How did you do that? So how did you stop using the drugs to sell them? You weren't that addicted then. Apparently.
Well, because like I say, you know, I was always kind of like a popular guy, and like I say, I always had, you know, what I wanted, but, you know, I knew that wasn't me. That wasn't my lifestyle, and I knew it was a different chapter for me. And
But your addiction, did you hit rock bottom with your addiction to make you get off?
Yes, ma'am, I did hit rock bottom. My mother went to the point to where she put me out,
Okay.
and she called the laws on me. You know, when your mother called the laws on you,
That's rock bottom.
say, you know, that was it. And like I said, I was raised in church, and I knew that it was time.
When she called the laws on you, what happened?
Well, they came out and they asked her, do they want her for them to take me to jail? And she really didn't want me to go to jail at the time. She just said I couldn't come back in the house at that particular time. So they asked me, did I have anywhere to go? So I told them, yeah, and I went to a friend's house that particular time.
But what did you do internally to get off drugs? If you're addicted, you got to have it. You're supporting your habit. What did you do to your mind or your heart to say, you know, the desire is killing you, but I'm not going to do it? So how did you find that? What did you do to find that strength?
Well, to tell the truth, I just got tired of being sick and tired, you know. And I knew I was a good guy inside, so I just asked the Lord, man, take this addiction away from me. And I told my mother, you know, they can admit me into an institution. All they're gonna do is clean me up and sober me up. That don't mean that I'm gonna stop.
Right.
So I had to make it in my mind that I was ready to stop to use the drugs and stuff. So I did. I made that change, but I started selling the drugs.
Right.
You know, and then I got addicted to that lifestyle.
So then your next pen trip, number 2, was for selling drugs?
Well, it was possession. I had a moment. I was intending to sell them, but I had a moment.
And were you in a car?
No, I was on the corner. And that's when they had the jump out boys, and they jumped out on me. But unfortunately, I kind of like ran and tossed the drugs, but yet and still, they put something on me. But I had the drugs, you know. I'm gonna be honest. I did have the drugs, but they didn't find them. But
They had some in their pocket.
yeah,
They found somebody else's. Okay.
you know.
Yeah.
But
And when you was on the corner, that was your office. You was at work.
well, pretty much, you know. And it's not safe out there on the streets. That's another reason why I wanted to stop, because I was getting to the point where I was making a lot of money, and I had moved back home, and you know, you putting your family in jeopardy when you selling drugs, because when those folks want what you got, they coming in that house.
Right. So when the jump out boys got you, how much time were you given in jail that time?
Well, I had the 4, then I had the 5-year sentence.
And how much did you have to do on that one?
On the 5-year sentence, I ended up doing 2 years on it.
So now they've built the state jail felony, so you have more time to, so they had more space, bed
Right,
space.
right.
All right, what was your next case for?
The next case was, they tried to say it was a robbery, but it wasn't a robbery, and then they said it was a theft by a person.
What happened?
On that instant, some friends, was 2 lady friends, they wanted me to score some dope from them, for them. And it was a sportsman boy, you had to be a member to go in there. So I went to the sportsman, I scored some dope from them, and I came back out, but they didn't want to pay me for my service at that particular time. So they went and indulged in what they do with the drug, and I'm sitting here waiting, and instead of trying to get my money, you know, they telling me I'm blowing their hide for me to cool down and you know, just chill out. I'm like, wait a minute, man, just pay me my money and let me go. So they got agitated and said, well, come on, we're going to drop him back off. And the girl said, well, I ain't going to give him nothing. He can't wait. And when I said, what? And so I looked at her pocket. She had like a pocket right here with some money in it. I said, no, you going to pay me my money. Like that. She said, you ain't getting nothing. I said, okay, watch. So we got out the car. She said she went to the trunk and got a tie rod.
Oh, okay, she gonna fight you as big as you are?
So
She high.
Oh, she's high, she's strong.
She in her mind.
yeah,
She high.
yeah. But I saw the money, so I drew back like I was gonna hit her, and I reached for the pocket and I
Smooth move.
snatched the money.
Wow.
And I went out. And
Run.
And they had the
did I
nerve to call
run?
police on you?
Well, the lady with a tie behind you, you wouldn't run?
So, and she had the nerve to call the police and say you robbed her?
Well, yes. But when the law came to my mother's house, I said, sir, I'm going to be honest with you. It was a dope transaction. He said, I figured that because their eyes wasn't dilated. But he said, this is what you need to do. He said, they're going to file on you. So what you need to do is file on them. That way it'd be a counterfile. And y'all can go to court on this. And I'm thinking they wasn't going to go to court.
Of course, yeah, you
know what
thinking
I mean?
that, right.
And so I get stopped on the freeway, and they told me I had a warrant. I said, a warrant for what? They said, theft by receiving from a person. I said, I ain't robbed nobody. They said, yeah, you know such and such and such? I said, oh, man, she filed for real, you know?
And you didn't.
And I didn't.
But the police told you to file.
But I'm thinking because she know me, you know, I didn't think she was going to send me like that to prison. So I got 20 years.
Wow.
Whoa, from your friend?
Yeah, because it was my third strike.
And did you go to trial?
Well, no, I didn't take it to trial.
Don't go to trial, man.
It sounded like he should have gone to trial on that one if it was a
Vivian.
drug rip. I mean, she
get-
lied on him.
But you get 20 and you don't go to trial. If you go to trial in Texas,
I mean, I'm not saying-
you risk getting 99.
Okay. All right, so you did 20 on you, that
Yeah.
20 years on it. How much did you have to stay on that one?
I did about 5 years on that 20.
Dang, that's messed up.
That's a lot of time on that kind of rip.
Right.
So what's number 4?
Number 4, okay, I'm big time now. I'm selling.
After 5 years of your life, you come out and you still haven't
I'm
learned.
Mr. Big Time.
I'm
Hey.
Mr. Big Time. I done 5 years in prison. So I'm Mr. Big Stuff.
Time. Come on,
Wow.
Mr.
Come
Tell us
on,
going.
Mr. Big Time.
Okay, well, I'm selling ounces now, so
Okay.
you know, I guess what you can call them New Jack City. You
Oh,
know.
Oh, Wesley
Oh,
Snipes
no.
in the house. We got Wesley
It's
Snipes.
nice in the house.
Come on, Wesley, tell us what
So
happened.
you knew Jack. After 5 years, you wasn't thinking about them 5 years you just did.
I was thinking about a come up.
Okay.
That was my mentality. You know, I'm a ball till I fall.
Okay.
You know, but right now today, you know, I regret that.
Of course.
But-
We're going back to your mindset
Right.
years ago.
Okay. Now, a so-called friend of mine, he want to score, but they didn't already busted him. I didn't know this here.
So he's selling cases now
Right.
to get out of trouble.
Yeah, they call it tag.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah, somebody, he got tagged.
Is it time to tag you?
Tag.
You said, now you it, huh?
Yeah,
Tag,
I'm
you
it. I'm it.
And you don't realize he's a confidential informant with a contract with the government.
Right, I didn't know that. So he had me to bring 3.5 ounces to a Fiesta. And I knew something was fishy when I got there because I give him the 3.5 ounces. He take the half and give me the 3 and told me I'll be right back. I'm going to show him what you got. I said, man, you know what I got. You know what I mean? I got that good. I said, nah, take him everything. Just bring me my money. He said, no, you keep the 3.
Oh, he wants you to get caught with some dope on you.
Right. So I knew it was something fishy then, but I was already in Fiesta parking lot. You know how crowded Fiesta is. So I said, Lord, please let me get out of this. And sure enough, man, they jumped out the car. I went to running through Fiesta parking lot, throwing,
Dope.
you know, I'm thinking somebody just going shopping don't be looking and say, oh, look at, you know, and get rid of that for me. But man,
He's so crazy. So you think they're going to get rid of your dope? They didn't touch that
Like they
dope.
gonna take it home and
but
cook
no,
it like
but
it's
I ran all the way around the corner from the store. Don't you know they walked me all the way back and picked up each ounce? It was
Oh, the
still
cops
on.
did.
Oh yeah,
It was still
the dope
right
was
there
Still
where
on the
you
ground.
still
Even though
on.
it was crowded, nobody bothered that dope.
nobody. That was just my luck.
It wasn't no
No,
drug.
it'd been they bad luck picking it up.
Well, no, the cop was chasing me.
Oh, okay.
It was some other cops watching that dope. They were making sure nobody picked that dope up.
Yeah. So that case there, I ended up getting 25 years.
Now we're getting to 25
Moving
years.
on up.
25 years. So how much time do you have to do on that 25?
I did 7 years on that 25.
To the top.
Okay, let's get to the last one.
Okay, now on that 25 year sentence there, I kind of starting to see the light.
Help me, Jesus. Take
Yeah.
the wheel.
Right. Exactly.
It's time to see the light. It's
Right.
time to see the light on
I-
that. Okay, because we've done 4, 5, 20, and 25. And so we've done how many times years of your life? 2 years, 5 years, 7 years, so that's 12, 13, 14 and a half. Let's say 14 and a half years now.
Right.
Of incarceration.
Right. Okay. Now I'm out, and I have a clear mind, clear headset. I got my CDL license.
Okay.
Back in church, doing the right thing. Then my father passed.
Okay.
Kind of took it hard. We was close. Started drinking. Left the dope alone, left the selling alone, got me a job. Used my CDL license. Drinking so hard. Got pulled over. Got a DWI. got me a lawyer. He got me off that time. Went on back to work. They put me in the tire shop this time because I done lost my license. Went back still drinking. Hadn't learned. Get caught again. And so this time, I was in Montgomery County. It was 2009. I was headed to my mother's house to put up some Christmas lights. And I didn't make it back home to 2016.
Dang.
March.
Dang. What happened?
I got another 25 years sentence.
For the DWI? Is it your third
They ran
DWI?
it
My third one.
It was a third one.
It was the third one, but they was looking
The
at
third one is
all.
a felony, though.
Right,
But you only told me about two.
Right.
You had a third one?
I had got one, and I caught another one.
Okay.
But the statutory is for 3 is 2 to 10, though.
No. The third DWI is a felony. The first two are misdemeanors.
Right.
So you've only told me about the CDL and drinking, then the DWI in Montgomery County. Where's the third DWI?
Again.
In Montgomery County too?
No, on the first one, the first two was in Harris County.
Okay.
The third one was in Montgomery County.
Okay, the third one's a felony. That's the one that'll send you out. Then they can enhance you with those other priors.
Right, that's what they did. They enhanced.
So you had to do 25 on a DWI.
Right, but now check this here out. I was leaving my mother's house after hanging the Christmas light. I kind of like passed out, blanked out. I don't know if somebody put something on me because I was with some guys that night. I don't know if they intentionally was, but I ended up in Montgomery County and I live in Fifth Ward. I don't know how I got to Conroe.
Dang.
But on my way down there, I said, man, something's wrong. So I pulled over behind Exxon station. My intention was to sleep it off, but not knowing that off-duty paramedic was following me because he said I was reckless driving. Wow. And his intention was to follow me and call for a welfare check on my stable. So I pulled behind the Exxon and turned the car off, and I think I put the keys over here on the hood or something.
Oh, if you did that.
But
then
no.
it's not like you should have made it.
No, check this out. So when the cop did come, he knocked on the window and said, "You okay?" I said, "Well, I feel kind of dizzy." He said, "You been drinking?" I said, "It was earlier." He said, "You want to take a field sobriety test?" I said, "No," because there wasn't no refusal weekend or nothing like that I had to take it. So he couldn't force me to take it. And so he said, "Well, I had got a call that you was reckless driving." I said, "Well, my car not wrecked." He said, "Well, your car don't have to be wrecked for you to be reckless driving. They said you was in and out of traffic and almost caused an accident." So I said, "Well, I'm good." He said, "You on any kind of medication?" I said, "Well, I take high blood pressure." So they called the ambulance and checked me out, this, that, and the other. And so it was cold. And the only thing they had on me were my speech that night. It was kind of slurry. But like I said, my intention was to sleep it off.
Right.
So when I went to court, the off-duty paramedic, they said his statement was credibility because he was a peace officer. But my fight was the arresting officer did not see me drive that motor vehicle, and the keys were not in the ignition.
Right.
But they said the keys was in reaching distance.
Wow.
It was in reaching distance.
Well, I've heard if you're in the driver's seat and you're drunk, like if you want to sleep it off in your car, you're supposed to get in the passenger seat.
I mean, that
or
would be
else-
safer, but the law is operating a motor vehicle. So if you're not operating, if the car is off and his keys are not by him, then he's not operating it.
Okay.
So that element doesn't work. But they can use, if he would have gone to trial, the off-duty, the paramedic could have testified that he was, driving drunk. But it would have just been his testimony. There's no other evidence of it. Like nothing else could have come into evidence. It's like he didn't take any field sobriety
What
tests.
about his priors?
No, I'm just talking about when you go to trial, it's just guilt innocence. So, I mean, it's just on that case.
Okay.
So I'm just saying the only evidence of him would have been him saying, well, he drove like this. But, that's 25 years is a lot of time. That's a case that you could have fought. Just different people look at it differently.
Right.
I mean, that's a case that you could have fought or you could have pled guilty to it. So you chose to plead guilty.
For the simple fact that I had got the best lawyer in Montgomery County. They say her name is Sheila Jackson. She wears a hat in court. She,
Oh, that's not Sheila Jackson. Her name is Lydia Clay Jackson.
right, okay. She came, it cost
Is she good, Vivian?
No comment.
It cost $250 just to
She
come
didn't get
see
no
me.
plug in. Okay.
I'm gonna tell you what she came and told me. She came and told me, she said, baby, I'm gonna put this on this. They want a case out of you. They want a conviction out of you because of your priors. She said, I don't want to take your money. Take the court-appointed lawyer that you have. You're probably going to get the same thing that I'm going to get, taking your money, and with him, not taking your money. So that's why I went the way I did.
Gotcha.
Which way did you go?
With a court-appointed lawyer.
Court-appointed lawyer.
He paid her for a consultation.
Yeah.
So she was a good guy that day. I mean, she's a good guy. I mean, that's rare. I mean, she said, I'm not going to take your money. And we say it all the time. Then when we on the inside, we being jailhouse lawyers, like, dude, if your parents, your clients I work with, it's like if you...
My former client.
Your former clients, yeah, because you're on the other team
I'm
now.
a prosecutor and I put people in jail.
But you put proud in front of your prosecutor.
I'm a proud prosecutor.
Okay, well, I'm going to respect that. I'm just stay out of trouble. But one of the things we debate about as jailhouse lawyers when we're on the inside is, do you put your family through the process of hiring a high-profile attorney for a case that we know we're guilty on, and we have priors when we know that our best out is to negotiate the best deal, which is based on our priors?
That's a choice you have to make.
Right.
And you made the choice of going with a court-appointed lawyer, so you can't second-guess that. It appears under the circumstances, as a good citizen, you realized you were driving funny, you stopped operating the motor vehicle. But that person could have testified that they thought you were reckless, but that would have been the whole trial, just that person testifying that they thought that you were driving recklessly, but then they thought that you acted responsibly by stopping. You didn't hurt anybody, you didn't hit anybody. That person couldn't have given you a ticket because they're not a peace officer. You don't understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So they are public officials. So then that would have been the whole trial. So then the jury has to decide whether you were actually intoxicated when you were driving. You were on high blood pressure medicine, but that would have been it. If you didn't testify, the police officers really couldn't say anything because you weren't operating the motor vehicle. That's all of the trial. So will they find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt based on that?
What do you think how his race would have played a part of?
Race is difficult in Montgomery County.
So that can we say that
It's
race
difficult.
would have been part of it, the process?
You can say whatever you like. What do you think?
I heard that a man got life sentence on a riding lawnmower in Montgomery County.
Oh wow!
That's why I took the
I never heard.
he was-
I never.
He was
I didn't know that.
intoxicated. They took his car. They took his license, and he went to the store on his riding lawnmower, intoxicated.
But he had priors too.
Right.
So
I've never known of a riding
was in the
lawnmower
paper.
to be
Yeah, I
a
remember
motor
that case.
vehicle. That's a motor vehicle.
In Montgomery
it has
County.
a motor.
well, the thing about it is, I think
All the laws are the same in Texas.
what played more important to his case was what he had done
Oh, I said he
prior.
was riding in a motorcycle. It wasn't like he was pushing it. It was one of
No,
those
yeah.
Right.
And once he
Right.
put it on the
on the street.
streets,
Yeah, it is a motor vehicle. I guess so. I'm thinking of somebody pushing the one. I'm not thinking about when he's riding.
right.
I'm gonna run the one
Oh.
to ride. Yeah.
Yeah.
They give him a
Wow,
life
I
sentence.
never even thought about that. So I guess even if you do one of those carts and you drive it, I guess that's a motor vehicle too. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
But they're electric, but I guess that's a car too. I never thought about that.
Right. So taking her advice, the attorney and my priors, and that I had already changed, but yet and still, that's the only thing I had hanging over me was the drinking.
So how much time did you have to do on that 25?
7 years.
Wow, for drinking. That's deep.
Right.
So now you've done 21 years, 21 and a half years in prison, right?
My life wasted. Yeah.
no, we're not.
It's not wasted. But
Not
how did the last time you went, how did you get redemption? So tell me how you survived this.
Well, the last time I actually really turned my life over to Christ, I told him I can't do it anymore. I'm gonna surrender. Let him guide me. And when my significant other at the time, she had gave me an ultimatum, the first time that we were together, when I went to jail, she told me, I'm gonna stand by you this time, but if you go again, I can't stay. and I went again, and she helped her in her.
She
of
said
her,
she couldn't stay.
Right. But she was the one that submitted my name to Liz Nim for the letter writing
Oh, good.
while I was incarcerated.
Liz like she wants to say something. What you want to say?
What do I want to say?
Do you want to say something? You smiling so pretty over there. Did you know it was a significant other that submitted the letter to you?
No,
You didn't know.
I didn't know.
You didn't know where.
We
she
get
You
so
remember
many.
St. John's?
Yeah, she's a member of St. John.
Why we never? She still go to tend to St. John's today?
Yeah, that's my ex.
But it's his ex. Remember, they broke up, and
But
she
we still
submitted
would
the
like
letter.
to. We still would like to meet her.
Not on the show. We're not gonna talk about that.
No. Oh,
He probably got a new one now.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. My bad.
Get out his business. Get out his business. You acting like a woman. That ought to be something. You acting like a
being
woman on
messy.
this. If we wasn't on
I'm
this,
being a little messy, huh?
you are being messy. You act like a little witch
No,
on that. 'Cause
I
we
want
want
to thank her. We want to thank her for
anybody could have dropped his name. So anyway, but let's we got about 12 minutes. So let's focus on how many people you wrote and how many people wrote back. So was the letter writing ministry at St. John's the first people that wrote you, other than your family?
Well, pretty much.
Or was your ex-girlfriend writing you too?
Yeah, she was staying in touch, but it wasn't what I wanted.
Right.
You know, for us financial wise, let me know, is this okay and that okay, you know. And my mother, she's elderly now, and she would drive her to visit, so it was a plus on that end. But, you know, I said enough is enough. And, excuse me, I was blessed to have my mother still alive once I got out this time. And that was one of the reasons I got 2 kids. They getting older and they didn't have their father. I never really been a father to them, you know what I mean? So it was a time that I was down there, I was just so hurt and grieved that, you know, each time I went to prison, I didn't just go. I took my mother with me, drug her. I'm my only child, you know. I want to say I'm sorry, Mother.
Oh, baby.
I apologize
That's
to you.
sweet.
But she tell me today she glad that I got my life together. But I came to Path to Freedom because I want to serve. I want to give back to the community. You know, instead of them hurting, I want to help now. You know, they always quick to say, well, here's the ex-con, he did this, he did that. And thank you for putting me on the show to say, well, here's an ex-con now, he's doing this for the public.
Community.
Right.
So tell me what you're doing for the community.
Well, I came
With Path to Freedom, with the Lazarus Project. Tell us what you're doing.
the Path to Freedom. I'm over there. I'm over the clothes closet. Mr. Danny and Arthur, they appointed me over the clothes
You
closet.
got an important job. We need clothes for
Right.
returning citizens. They
Return
need some
to-
clothes.
Exactly. And what I do, I go up there and fit them, the guys or the gals, you know, I fit them out in case they need clothes for an interview or just need clothes, you know what I mean? So I'm just happy to be able to give back, you know. And I also went through this program, the reentry second chance program.
And let's talk about this. So the City of Houston, I have some information that the City of Houston has a reentry network program. It's at www.houstontx.gov. It's the health classes. There are no shortcuts to successful reentry. And new classes begin every Monday, 832-393-5467. 832-393-5467. New classes begin every Monday. Tell me how you got involved with the City of Houston program.
Well, it was a spokesman from the City of Houston came to the parole officer my first day reporting at JFK over there, parole office. He was coming to elaborate on this this great deal they have over there, multi-purpose center over there off Lockwood and Rand. And he was asking us to give them a try because they have all different type of resource to help you, you know, by coming home, you know, you're having an X on your back and it's hard to find a job. But he explained to us that this is a second chance reentry program. Was done by the City of Houston. And it's like a pure group session. You know, you talk about jobs, you They prepare you to go on an interview, what to say, what not to say, how to dress, and to be honest on your application. Like if you've been convicted before, you know, if you don't want to write it on there, just say we'll discuss in the interview. They just tell you different and helpful resources to how to go about attaining a job. But I recommend this to anybody that's been to jail to go through this program.
What did you learn in the program?
Oh man, I learned self-esteem, integrity, you know, morals about myself. You know, it make you feel good about yourself. And at the same time, it give you like a push when you back in the side. You think everybody have gave up on you, you know. And they have different resources you can rely on. Like they even have like, they have a health care screening over there. See, like I was positive with hepatitis C. And by me coming out of prison, I was energy. They recommended me to Legacy Clinic, and I got cured from Hep C.
So you can be cured from Hep C?
Right.
I always thought that's something that you live with forever. You can be cured.
No, you can be cured. I'm cured now. So
Beautiful.
I went through that. You know, they just have a lot of resources. You know.
How long is the class?
It's Mondays.
How long?
Maybe 4 to 12 weeks. You know, in the process of you getting a job and completing the class, you know, it might last to 4. But right now I'm working with the city of Houston.
Wonderful.
Let me see your plaque.
Oh yeah.
Let me see. Hold your plaque up. Let me see your plaque. Let me see your plaque where you graduated.
This is
the Murray Bailey Award, presented to Freddie Galloway for exhibiting dedication to the program, commitment to helping others, caring, and an ambassador for change, Community Reentry Network, December 15th, 2016. Go, Freddie! So you got out March of 2016, and then by December, you had a plaque and a job.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so where do they start you off in solid waste, or where do they put you?
Street and drainage.
Street and drainage. Okay, how is that working for you?
Well, tomorrow I have an interview to get hired on permanent.
So you're part of a temporary program?
Yes, ma'am, through A1 Source.
Good,
Yeah.
good. So are you living with your mother, or
Yeah.
trying to help her, or she's helping you, or y'all helping each other?
That's my goal, to give back to her. It's my time to give her her flowers while she's alive.
Amen. Amen. Well, we have 5 minutes. I'm going to take it back to the round table. Tell me, Elizabeth, this must be quite rewarding for you to know that you are a part of a program that sees people come out of prison with your little 24 years. He's done 24 years. 21 years. That's almost as old as you are. Yeah. And to know that you're, as a millennial, I am extremely proud of you. I have so many that say, I want to help. And it's all, you know, flicking the fingers, but they're not actually spending time with people on a Thursday evening, writing letters. I mean, it's hard writing letters. That's time consuming. Reading letters. Yeah. Because everybody, you know, because it can be kind of frustrating reading letters because everybody wants to be free and everybody's wrongfully convicted.
Has the same story.
They have the same. Oh, trust me, I've been reading letters for 20-something years. So I just want to say I'm proud of you. Is it rewarding for you?
Yes, it actually is. It's so overwhelming. I really get emotional with it. Like we actually had a guy, Donald Davis, our volunteer. His brother was in prison and he ended up passing away from cancer. We found out, yes, and we found out about that, and then a few weeks later, we got a letter from a guy that said, I don't know who y'all are or what this is, but I want to say that we wrote a brother named James Davis, which happens to be Donald's brother.
Wow.
And he said, we wrote him. He told me about this ministry. He said that you write him. So I want to know, what is this ministry? Who are y'all? You know, what do y'all do? And that was so overwhelming to me because he even said in the letter, I guess the guy's a pastor. He's in TDC right now. And he said in the letter that before James died, he accepted, you know, Christ into his life, and he let him minister to him. So I had, the next month, the whole group wrote him letters. So we sent him over 20 letters.
All right. That is a beautiful thing. Yeah. That's a feel-good moment. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for your hard work. Have you been able to recruit any other millennials to help you, or is this just on your heart?
Yes. Actually, Miss Jade Minor, I do want to give a shout-out to Miss Jade because she came to the recruitment table one Sunday and she was like, I want to know what letter writing is. And she showed, and it was 2 girls that came that day and they were around my age. So I was like, wow, this is great. People my age are going to be involved. And the other girl never showed up, but Jade did. And she now leads the recruitment Saturday breakfast.
And is she actually writing letters though?
Yes, she's writing letters too. Actually, we're now, how we do it is typically there's a devotional each month. I'll type up, some words of encouragement, explaining a story, etc. Just things throughout the ministry, we'll tell them. And what we have the volunteers do is write on the back a few words of encouragement. And that's what we send off. So
we have 1 minute, so
Okay,
wrap it
sorry.
up so Danny wants to say something too.
This month we'll have Jade telling her story. So it's just so many opportunities, and I encourage everyone around my age, young, old, anyone to participate.
Thank you. So Danny, I'm going to let you close it out, sweetheart.
So what we want to do is thank you for providing a platform for returning citizens, formerly men and women that were incarcerated, and there's no shortcuts to reentry, to be successful like Freddie is. But as long as we are willing to do something different with our lives, and people are willing to support us, we're going to be all right. And what Freddie has did is he just didn't come out and do something for himself. This is the key. He got involved in community service. So we believe in that the people that you see the biggest success in that have stories like Freddie and mine is, they didn't just get out and say, I want to change. They want to get out and say, I want to change the environment I'm in and the people I'm around. Because when we change, something happens to the people around us. We got nieces, nephews, relatives, and when they see that we can make this transformation in our lives, it challenges them to look at their lives. Again, there's no shortcuts to reentry. Want to congratulate you, Freddie, on the job you're doing. You're staying focused, you're staying disciplined, you're staying consistent. And those are the core values of our ministry. It's kind of faded out with the backdrop, but these are our shirts. Freddie, give a shout out to Freddie. These are we use these at our church to support our ministry at St. John's. The church is located at 2019 Crawford Street. The pastors are Juanita Ramos and Rudy Ramos. We'd love for you to come. It's a unique opportunity, a unique experience to come worship with us at St. John's. Vivian is also a member of St. John's.
Yep,
she attends the 8 o'clock service.
I do, and then I run off to work. But thank you so much for watching another story of redemption. It's been our pleasure to talk to you about that. Hopefully we've educated you about something in the criminal justice system, about your community. And isn't it wonderful when we can take lawbreakers and they become taxpayers? So now we have Freddie paying taxes and contributing to society just like the rest of us. And if we had more Freddies, we'd have a better community. Thank you so much for watching Truth and Justice with Vivian King. Good night. Thank you for tuning in again. Tonight we have something really good, a hot topic in the news this week. He's been charged with crime. This is a show where